All right, Shalom. First, like to step by saying, I'll praise to Yahweh by Shimon Shai, by Shimon Kakadash, give honors to the elders and the apostles of the will, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This world star hip hop, and it says China says it's ready for any type of war with the U.S. Promises to fight to the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play on this clip and then add some precepts.
Years as the speech wrapped up last night, this was posted by the Chinese embassy. Quote, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. As Secretary of Defense, how do you take that?
Well, we're prepared. Those who long for peace must prepare for war. That's why we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're reestablishing deterrence and the warrior ethos, is because we live in a dangerous world with powerful ascendant countries with very different ideologies. You mentioned defense spending. They're rapidly increasing their defense spending. Modern technology. They want to supplant the United States. If we want to deter war with the Chinese or others, we have to be strong. And that president understands peace comes through strength. He also has a great relationship with that gentleman right there, too, Xi Jinping. So where we can partner, where we can cooperate to recognize that we don't want war with China, we don't seek that war, we will. And the president has sought historic peace and historic opportunities. But my job as the Secretary of Defense is to make sure we're ready. We need the defense spending, the capabilities, the weapons, and the posture in the Indo-Pacific, which is something we're very much focusing on.
China as
Play War Thunder now. Join millions of players across the globe in massive battles on tanks.
All right, so like you bear with me. The word supplant that he used is a verb. This from etymology.com, century 1300. Supplantin, disposes, acquire a position from someone by strategy or scheming. From Old French, supplanter, supplanter, to trip up, overthrow, drive out, usurp. Or directly from Latin, supplantere, trip up, overthrow. It says from a assimilated form of sub, which means under, plus planta, sole of the foot, under the sole of the foot. Right. So basically, China wants to be the next rulers. They think what the scriptures say in Proverbs, heathen rage and imagine the vain thing. China wants to be the next rulers because America is coming down and all these nations know it. And their technology has surpassed the U.S. Their military is greater than the U.S. You know, and more than likely they got more money than the U.S. because the U.S. currency ain't backed by no gold, no silver. It's just a paper dollar. And the U.S. has been ruling through the sword going back to Genesis, which is their spiritual blessing. You know, that's why they trying to take down countries and take resources now. But you know, the nations are not having that anymore. Uh, all of I heard a precept for it. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 46. And thou Asia, which is represents the Moabites, the Chinese, so-called Chinese. Thou art partaker of the hope of Babylon. Babylon is America, and art the glory of her persons. Woe means destruction. Be unto thee, thou wretch. because thou hast made thyself like unto her. Right. So China has taken after the philosophies of America. They even got cities in China named after American cities. You know, and has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please the glory of thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, said the Most High. Right. So China, you know, was like a underling to the U.S. Man. They took on a lot of America's ways and whatnot. They had that partnership, that friendship, and they looked up to the U.S. You know, but it's destruction unto them. Verse 49, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, diseases, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Right. And this is what's going on in China right now. Yeah, just like what's going on around the world with all this chaos and stuff going on and death, same thing going on in China. China be more so in the news for storms and things that they be having. You know, more than hearing about, at least what I've been hearing, it's about full of storms and toxic smoke and things of that nature going on over there, you know, more than anything. All the diseases and stuff, more than just people killing each other outright, you know, but yeah, so China used to look up to America, follow after America's ways, and now the Lord is changing that. That's why this statement is being made now today, because this is how the Lord is breaking up the U.S. with China. And the Lord's going to use China to shoot missiles upon this place. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the king's mind, one point in time, there was in friendship. The U.S. was able to rule over them, keep them in fear, but now that's changing. If I'm not mistaken, the U.S. is responsible for putting drugs in their cities and towns. I think it's called the Boxer Rebellion. I think that's what it's called. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna have to go into this later. But when I first came into the truth, I learned and studied about this. But this is the Boxer Rebellion was a violent uprising in China around 1900s, led by a Chinese secret society called the Boxers. Yi Hit Tuan, who aimed to drive out all foreign influence, particularly targeting Western missionaries and diplomats. Um, through a campaign of violence against them, the rebellion was eventually suppressed by a multinational military force, leading to significant consequences for China, including heavy reparations and further erosion of its sovereignty. Right, so this would be something to look into. So, you get to this. Xi Jinping, because you have to know who these rulers is. If you're gonna be a ruler, man, you gotta know who, who one you're up against. Uh, these are your enemies. Uh, yeah, man, you gotta know who the other kings of the world are, so to speak. These guys are just, you know, what do you call it? These guys are like puppets, just like President of the United States. There's societies behind them that are way powerful than them, you know. So these are like the front end type situation. Uh, I'm not going to go in deep on this. I'm just going to get beginning part of it. This is Xi Jinping, born the 15th of June 1953, is a Chinese politician who has been the general secretary of the Chinese Communist Party and chairman of the Central Military Commission, and thus the paramount leader of China since 2012. Since 2013, Xi has also served as the seventh president of China. As a member of the fifth generation of Chinese leadership, Xi is the first CCP General Secretary born after the establishment of the People's Republic of China. You see, the People's Republic of China. Remember, the Republic goes back to the Roman Republic, who ruled the Roman Empire, starting off with uh, damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. Japheth. From Japheth, the Edomites took over. Edomites is the so-called white people, and then Jake eventually took over uh, Rome with Constantine and other guys. Before Constantine, Jake was already Septimius Severus and other gentlemen, amongst the ranks. Um, but the Republic, the Roman Republic, was the Edomites. The pagan Roman Empire was Jake, was the so-called was Judah now, because you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi over there. So you know it could have been any one of them uh, um, who was in the positions of power that led to the. And then I think Constantine was Judah, if I'm not mistaken. But conversation for another day. Uh, Now let's get to the second U.S. United States Secretary of Defense. It says the United States Secretary of Defense is the head of the United States Department of Defense, the executive department of the U.S. Armed Forces, and is a high-ranking member of the federal cabinet. The Secretary of Defense position of command and authority over the military is second only to that of the President of the United States, who is the Commander-in-Chief. It says the position corresponds to what is generally known as a defense minister in many other countries. The president appoints the Secretary of Defense with the advice of consent of the Senate and is by custom a member of the cabinet and by law a member of the National Security Council. Right, so that's what that represents. That's what he represents. What he represents. Yeah, I also forgot to say that the reason why I mentioned Rome is because America is the modern day Roman Empire. The deadly wound that was healed in Revelations 13, you can start verse 1, point is in verse 3. Uh, yeah, so this is the modern day Roman Empire. Esau's forefathers go back to Rome. They take on the Roman customs today, and the whole public situation coming from America is part of a philosophy of America that was passed out to multiple nations, not just China. Uh, okay. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And that's what you see going on right now. That's why you got start from the apostles on down, hitting up the videos on the and edifying the flock on the truth behind the history of the world and what's to come in the future. The Lord is bringing his people back by way of these videos, Judah and Jerusalem, though, because the truth and the Most High, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai, only deal with the Israelites, according to the Bible. It's the so-called blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is over there in the Middle East, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. So they getting ready for war because of what they have done to the nation of Israel, all the captivities that we have been in under these various nations, man, through various times. Um, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, right? Transatlantic slave trade, 1492 with the Puerto Ricans, and parted my land. The land of Israel belongs to the blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. Uh, you got the Edomites, who call themselves Israelis, or the so-called Jews, and you got the Ishmaelites, who call themselves the Palestinians, uh, who are the so-called Arabs. In our land now today, we are not no longer in our land, man. So they over there in our land, and the Lord is getting them ready for the battle, the Third World War, you know, or having them fight the Third World War. A lot of these nations that aren't involved right now will eventually get involved. And jump to verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Let's see. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. That's including China, Russia, and various other nations. um, I was going to say something. It don't matter. It says, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. Plowshares is farming instruments. The swords is military weaponry. And your pruning hooks, farming instruments, into spears, military weapons. Basically meaning the money that they put into their agriculture, they put into their defense spending, like he said. Let the weak say I'm strong. There were nations who were weak, who didn't have the power to stand up against America. North Korea, now they got ICBM, now they got nuclear missiles. Um, they ain't been saying this shit lately, but they in bed with the Russians. You know, they used to say it a long time ago. I've seen some clips. Saying that they got nuclear missiles. You saw with this confusing shit, but they're in bed with the Russians and they trade military might. They even uh they even got thousands, 10,000. They had 10,000 troops on the line fighting Russia and Ukraine, and they were supposed to be sending some more troops just like a week or so ago. You know, so if they not saying that they got ICBM capabilities to reach the U.S. by now, they should have it. They just keeping it a secret. Iran, same shit. Then seen the documentary that said that they had them, and then that documentary disappeared, and there ain't been no more talk about it. This is like 15 years ago though, 14, 13 years ago. But they in bed with the Russians also. You know, Russia gonna be a guard unto the weaker nations like Korea, Iran, and partnered with China. They in bed together with the whole BRICS organization. They doing trade amongst each other. All the tariffs and sanctions that the U.S. has been putting on nations and messing up the U.S. economies made the nations come together. That's why they said we ready for war. Shit, it's us and versus the West and Israel, really, because the EU already turning on America right now. So the U.S. still got a little backing with the EU, but that's fading away. It's just like how they into it with China, they into it with the EU, and that's the spirit of Yahweh Shai, what has been done to the nation of Israel. Okay, so verse 11: Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. That's the angels. The angels are getting involved in that fight, man. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. I'll put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. The wickedness of America is great. The harvest is ripe, meaning we're at the end of the world, end of Esau's kingdom. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. This is Psalms chapter 108, verse 9. Moab is my washpot over Edom, the white people. over in America? Will I cast out my shoe over Philistia? Will I triumph? Basically, uh, Moab is going to be used to shoot nuclear missiles over, on America, man. Psalm 60 and 8. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. Right, so with these war words that they got going back and forth, and then the terrorists and all that was part of the action. Uh, the Lord gonna use Moab to shoot nuclear missiles upon America. So this look. So talk is becoming cheap nowadays. They finna get the action going. With that being said, call law Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.